2022. I am Billy,
And I'm Bobby.
and this is the new and approved Billy and Bobby Slingshot Show. Let's get it tonight, guys. Let's do it. Oh, shit. Here we
We
go.
got music tonight.
We got some new music tonight, guys. That's right. We're not going,
Switching
we're
it
going
up on
crazy. Hey. Guys, thank you so much. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back. This is a big night, a big, huge night. And I tell you, this is it doesn't get much better than this, to be honest with you. Anytime you can have a chance to win a turbo from DDM, right, and have an opportunity and to give to two great charities, right? And we're going to talk about all that tonight. So let's jump right into it. The first thing I want to talk about is, you know, as you see, everybody, this is more people than we've ever had in this room, and it's amazing. So we're gonna go through and let's kind of introduce everybody, because I think that's important. Obviously, I am Billy, and then we have some special guests, John and Wendy Bettis. And let me tell you who they are. They're with Savannah Strong, and everybody knows them. Everybody knows the Savannah Strong rally. This is just they're an amazing group of people, amazing family, and they're going to talk a little bit about their story soon. And then next, let's introduce. I'm going to introduce Abe Fruman, the Sausage King of Chicago, only because I do not know how to pronounce your last name. Abe, how do you pronounce your last name?
Pavandi.
Okay, all right. Well, you're still Fruman to me, right? Near and dear to my heart. Everybody knows Big Dave Michael from DDM. What's going on, Dave?
What's up, man?
Well, I'm glad to have you on, man. This is it's always good to have you on the show. You've always been a supporter with us from day one, and more importantly, tonight you are the kind of man of the hour as far as sponsoring this giveaway, and we're going to talk more about that too. So thank you for being on the show. Next, I mean, listen, everybody knows Dana. Come on, everybody knows what's going on, Dana.
Oh, well, hello from Texas, and hello to all my friends on the screen. Sausage King?
Yeah, please tell me you've never seen. Please tell me you've seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
I have.
Okay, you know the scene where he goes in and tries to get the reservation for the restaurant, and he says that his name is Abe Fruman, and he goes, the Sausage King of Chicago. Yes, come on, you're disappointing me, Dana. Come on. All right, so we'll pick that back up later. Next, Brian Gorleski. What's going on, Brian?
What's going on, everybody?
Nice. You will find that Brian and Abe are men of few words, not many words, but a few words, and we're gonna kind of get them going tonight, and hopefully we'll get them talking a little bit more. And last but not least, you know who it is. It's Bobby. It's the infamous Bobby from the Billy and Bobby Show. And best of all, this is the second time now that Bobby's been on camera. Like,
really?
It's yes.
I thought this was the first time.
No. Last week was the first time.
Last week with the flash drawing, I decided to come out from behind the curtain.
Oh,
He came out of the closet, you guys. He came out to the camera. Came out of the closet onto the camera. That's right. All right. Well, and this is it, man. This is your team of people tonight, and I think you're going to really enjoy the show. So, first of all, let's get started. Let's talk a little bit about what Bobby and I have been doing. Bobby and I decided to take the leap, and we made a purchase with our friend Brian, who is and I hate it, Brian Dewey. Thank you, Brian Dewey. So Brian Dewey, if you've ever met Brian did he had an alignment tool machine that he bought from Bosch, and he's been did alignments all throughout the country. He recently moved to California, and then wanted to get out of the game, so we made a deal with Brian. We purchased his machine, and so now we've been doing some alignments here in Colorado, and we hope to be able to take that kind of on the road to some of the different shows throughout the country. And because what a lot of people don't know, and this is what's really important, is Slingshots, every single one of them that we have seen, we've seen quite a few between Brian and I and Robert, is that they're out of alignment straight from the factory, and it's crazy. It is nuts to see that. So, if you say, well, I don't think my sling's out of alignment, it probably is. You're just not noticing it, especially if you've never had it done. So if you ever get an opportunity to do that, whether it's with us or whether it's with somebody else in a different show, I highly recommend doing the laser alignment. It made a difference with mine. It made a difference with Bobby's. And I can tell you firsthand, we would not have bought the machine had we not seen such a significant difference in that. So, we definitely recommend that.
The thing with it too is that they're very, I mean, if you've done enough of them, they're very sensitive to alignment settings as far as what the vehicle feels like going into turns. I mean, just a small change in alignment makes that thing feel either completely dead in the front end or really, really lively, and not much change at all can do that. So I mean, vehicles that are, will come in that, we'll do shocks and all that kind of stuff on them, go out there and drive them, they just don't feel right. And then you check the alignment and you're like, yeah, they're way out, kind of thing. So
and also Billy, don't forget that Dave's handy dandy little tool that allows you to measure dead center on the steering.
Wait. No, only for first gen.
Let me finish my statement. Let me finish my statement. I was gonna say that. Yeah, for up through 19, it allows you to measure dead center and then get a straight on alignment with the laser tool. It makes all the difference in the world.
I tell you, I definitely want to get into that some more. But the reader, we got a chance to use it for the first time a couple of weeks ago. It was amazing. We really love it. If you're looking for an extra tool in your toolbox with your Slingshots, that's definitely one to pick up, especially for the price. We've done a lot of jobs. It seems like Bobby and our busiest season is the winter season, obviously, when everybody's down, especially in Colorado. So we've got a lot of folks that have already started to make appointments about getting lights, getting some of the performance stuff, getting mats, getting some other things. So we're looking forward to that. I think it's going to be a big season for us. And then hopefully, as it begins to warm up, you're gonna hit some of the different shows, the different rallies. I know that I personally got an extra week of vacation that our boss gave me from everybody. So now I have 3 weeks of vacation a year versus 2, just randomly, which is pretty awesome. And Bobby just started a new job. Things are good. I mean, the life is good. So I think we're going to start a kind of a new tradition on the show. And one of the things that I really want to do, and I think it's important, is I want to recognize one person every show, a different person every show, who brings a level of craftsmanship, a level of professionalism professionalism to the group, and it really just elevates the Slingshot community in general. And we're going to start that. And this week, he doesn't know it. I don't think I texted him and told him to listen to a show, but can we just talk a minute? Can we just talk a minute about Slingworks? Can we do it? Can we talk about the badass stuff that he is putting out, the custom work that he is putting out? I mean, let's discuss this, because I think it's important.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Let's talk about that.
Since you asked nice.
I expected somebody to kick in with that, but clearly you guys weren't listening. You're killing me here. No, at the end of the day, Slingworks, man, this man does. You pay for the product, right? It's not a cheap product, but that's it. You get what you pay for. And I've had some long discussions with him, and he just makes some fantastic custom pieces for your Slingshot. And I think that if anybody's looking to put waterfalls or speaker pods or grill inserts, I mean, he makes all of these. Of course, at the end of the day, there are other manufacturers that do it and they look good, but we're addressing Slingworks tonight because I just think that the work that he produces is amazing. So if you guys are looking for that, this is not a sponsor by him. I just think he does great work, and I think you guys should check it out. I see.
I just looked it up actually because I'd been seeing and not I mean the stereo stuff's not our stuff, but I've been seeing his stuff on Facebook. It's really cool looking. I didn't realize you just allowed me to put the name and the product together there. So really nice stuff.
And what's more important and what's crazy is that he's a one-man show. He doesn't have anybody that works for him. He does this full time, and he does this by himself. And to be able to turn out these pieces is just awesome. So really some good looking stuff.
Never seen any of his work in person. It is so clean and so, I mean, it's refined. It's not just kind of pretty stuff put together. It's really refined work.
Yeah, I've been following him for a while, and a lot of his fit and finish and the overall product's just on point.
And his seams, there's no gaps where the top of that waterfall meets the top of the slingshot there. It's perfect. It's perfect. No, it's one of my favorites.
Definitely quality work. So just give a chance to check him out. What was that, Dana?
You can totally customize everything, and he has like the thought process to take what you want and turn it into an actual product. That's what amazes me.
Well, and that's really what I think sets him aside from a lot of folks is that you give him ideas and you tell him, you want this custom writing or this custom symbol, and he's able to integrate that and make it look as clean as it does. So, definitely a top notch company. I guess you'd call them a company. Definitely a top notch company when it comes to slingshot parts. So, give a shout out to Slingworks, man. He's
exactly.
Yeah, top notch craftsman.
Craftsman. Yeah, that's a good term. Thanks for that.
I'm a top notch craftsman.
I'm a top notch asshole, but that's just
top notch is really kind of pushing it, but
well, I can discuss that. No. we've had a rough week. So moving on. the more important, it's an inside joke. I'm sorry. So moving on, the big question is why are there so many people in the room, right? And that is because there are these group of people that you see that put together this fantastic, and Bobby and I take absolutely zero credit for this because we didn't have anything to do with it, but we think it's a great cause and we're going to promote the hell out of it. And that is, we're going to support two awesome charities, or this giveaway, this raffle is going to support two awesome charities and give back to them and give somebody a chance of winning a DDM turbocharger. And that's a big deal. I mean, that is a big deal. I don't know where else you can go spend $25 and have a chance at, right now it's what, Abe, 104? So 1 in 104 chance. And
104, man.
Yeah. I mean, where else are you going to go and do that? And more importantly, support. Did we lose somebody?
Lost Dave.
What's that?
Oh, show's over.
Sorry, Dave will jump back.
Dave's gone.
So more importantly, support some awesome just some awesome charities. So
Hey,
DDM.
Sorry to interrupt. Abe apparently thinks you're pretty hot.
Who?
Somebody messaged that you're pretty hot.
Oh, it's my wife.
Let's hope it's Abe's wife that said that, because if not, there's going to be drama that I've got to see. I am not going to pass up that domestic tonight. Let me just tell you that. So once again, I think this shows where everybody's dedication to this community really is, and because there are people like John and Wendy that we're going to talk to next, and they have such a great cause, and they have such an important message that they want to get out to everybody. One that personally, I don't think many of us would really give much consideration to. I don't think we really think about that so much. So I want to welcome John and Wendy Bettis. Thank you so much for being on the show tonight. Why don't you just take a minute and just tell everybody your story. Tell us kind of why you're here and why you have this foundation.
Okay, well, back in 2015, we lost Savannah to carbon monoxide poisoning in a moving vehicle. The car had an exhaust leak, which was coming up through the floorboards, the trunk hatches, for fresh air. Basically, both of them overcome with the CO poisoning or the fumes, which you cannot smell. CO you can't smell. And they ended up wrecking the vehicle. Savannah wouldn't survive the CO poisoning or the injuries sustained in the accident. Since then, the community here in Indiana and the Slingshot world across other states, they have joined in with us on creating Savannah Strong. We had one lady that messaged us about having kind of like testing or emissions testing or some kind of testing in the vehicle to determine this, if there's any CO inside that air in the cab. Since then, we've had Savannah's Law passed here in the state of Indiana that allows all the fire departments throughout the state to do the testing for free. Coming up in January, this is news to us as of today. We are going back to the State House to get Savannah's Law mandatory in the state of Indiana.
Wow.
So it's not a voluntary testing anymore. They're going to get it passed as mandatory.
We hope
to get it passed.
It does.
Anybody can do it. You two can do it.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt, I think many people will tell you that I can't imagine losing a child. I can, because I've lost my son, not to carbon monoxide poisoning, but to the next topic we'll talk about. And I will tell you that I applaud you both for taking these steps to make it mandatory to do these testings, in hopes that you save one other person, right? It's all worth it if one other person gets saved. If one other parent doesn't have to lose a child because of something that I think you and I think the general public and man, you guys can step in and tell me if I'm wrong on this, but carbon monoxide poisoning is just not something that we know what it is, that we take steps to it, but we really don't think that that's a danger when we're driving a car. It's just not something that really crosses our mind, and at least it hasn't been for me at all. And so I know you guys are you're strong parents, and you're killing it, and all the attention that you're bringing to this through Savannah Strong is amazing, and I just want to say thank you very much. It's awesome.
Thank you.
I don't have many more words, but
we cannot thank the Slingshot community enough. Dave, Dana, Brian, all you guys, for supporting us and just listening to the story and the awareness, spreading that's what helps us. And we would not be where we are today if it wasn't for all the supporting people like you.
Well, and I think a lot of the credit, or I think all the credit, really goes to you guys, because it's you out there every day. It's you out there who are putting Savannah's story out there, who are pushing these legislatures to make these laws, who are out there making a difference to make sure that nobody else has to go through this. So it's hard. I don't see how anybody can't hear your story and then say, and not be an eye opener. It was an eye opener for me. I didn't know your guys' story until a couple of months ago. Obviously, I've seen you on Facebook, and I've never been to a rally to be able to meet you guys. And I know that Bobby and I both would love to be able to link up with you and just hang out and have some good conversation. But you guys are the real driving force behind this, and everybody else is just is just we're supportive because that's what we need to do to make sure nobody else gets hurt or dies over this. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
um it's kind of a downer, a little bit. We're talking about a charity where a young beautiful girl lost her life from something that she had no clue of, right? She never knew that this was what was going on. She never suspected this, and it didn't end well for her. And the second charity, which is near and dear to both myself and to Dana, and we're going to talk about that, is something else that most of the time you never see coming, and that is pediatric brain tumors. So, Dana, let me ask you a question. Let's talk a little bit about why this is important to you. Why is this particular cause important to you?
I work at the largest cancer center basically in the world, and I do a lot of pediatric treatments. And there's a particular type of brain tumor out there, DIPG, that has basically a 0 survival rate, as you know. Those kids and their families are just the most inspiring and amazing people. The folks that know me know the tattoos on my legs are artwork from most of these kids. There's actually art on my Slingshot now that these kids drew for me during treatment. But mainly, it's not known. People DIPG is not anything that anybody actually hears or recognizes, mostly, unless it's touched. Median survival for those kids is 14 months. And
you're right. DIPG is 100% fatal. DIPG, yep. There is no coming back from that. When my son did not have DIPG, my son had he had an optic pathway glioma, and which is essentially a diffused tumor on his optic nerve. Mm-hmm. And we joined forces with another local. We joined forces with another major nonprofit here in Colorado, and there's the research, like you talk about, the research that goes on. There is a lot of really positive steps, a lot of positive progress in the area of DIPG. That within the next probably 4 to 5 years, it probably won't be 100% fatal. It will, it'll still be highly fatal, but it won't. Yeah, the chances of it being 100% are significantly reduced in our estimate, probably the next 4 to 5 years. So, it's not hard. It's not easy. It's not easy. It can't be easy for you as a provider to go in and see these kids day in and day out, knowing that the next 12 months they're not going to be with us anymore. It's kind of crazy. With our son, the doctors, when we went in, the doctor says, "Oh, well, this is exactly what he told us." He said that this is not the type of tumor that's going to kill your son. He said this tumor will die off by the time he's 17, 18. 2.5 years later, he was gone. And I think there's a lot of unknowns with because there's so many various types of brain cancer or cancer in general, but brain cancer particularly. It's hard on the bodies of these kids, these small kids who have to go through chemo. They have to go through these radiation, and the tenacity of these kids is amazing. If I'm sure, Dana, you see it all the time. Like I know our son, even through into the very end, into the last day, he never once cried. He never once said, I don't want to be here. He kept a smile on his face. And if you look at some of these kids that are in this hospital or in these hospitals throughout the country, you see the same thing. They have such an upbeat, positive attitude, regardless of what they may know or may not know, where they may or may not know to be the end. So I applaud you for going in and working with these kids, and supporting them, knowing in your mind that they may not be with us much longer. So thank you for that.
Thank you. And I'm going to throw a shout out to a couple of OGs, EJ Ford and Joe Bance, who were the ones that actually got me connected with the Ride for Kids. Early on in 2015, they drove their Slingshots to Houston while I was waiting for mine, and got me involved in the Ride for Kids. And that's how I got involved with that particular part of it. And that's where Team Slinging for a Cure was born.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. And then as a lot of you may or may not know that in many of the rallies that you'll go to, a lot of the proceeds from the rallies do go to, well, thanks, I do thank Dana for that, is that they go towards the Pediatric Brain Cancer Foundation. You'll see the signs up. I know last year when we were at Sling Experience, they were out there. And so there's a lot of support with it. People want to help, and John and Wendy, I will tell you that people want to help. They do, and they want to support, because at the end of the day, you guys are great people. Savannah was a wonderful person. I don't know, I never did know her, but you know what? I know that she was a wonderful person. I've seen pictures of her. I saw the smile. I see the smile on her face every time I look at them, and so people want to help, and people are, this raffle is just one of them. I mean, with 104 tickets, and we still have a couple weeks left before the final drawing. So hopefully we'll have a good turnout, and and hopefully that nobody on either side of this has to go through this anymore. That's for sure.
I got to thank you
Good.
to Abe, Brian, and Dave, and Bobby and Billy for supporting the Strive, because this type of community support is everything. So thank you. Abe, you hot honey.
I had a conversation with EJ Ford today.
You did?
I think he sent a check to Dave.
Yeah, he did. Well, he said he was going to. So, yeah, once I get the check, I'll let you know.
Hey, is he the older guy with white hair that has
He doesn't want any numbers
on his Slingshot?
He has
The monkey.
the monkey.
He's got the monkey on his Slingshot.
It's tied to the back roll bar.
Yep.
Yeah.
So then, does he have the monkey on his back?
He's got a monkey on his back.
He literally has one.
Literally has a monkey on his back. That's awesome. Family is everything. Family is everything, and family can come in all forms. I will tell you that those of you who don't know, I've only known Robert for what, man? It's been 2 years, man? Is that what it is?
2 years. Yeah.
2 years.
2.5.
2.5, right? 2.5 years. And Robert he's been like a brother to me. We fight about things. We, call each other names, and but at the end of the day, he is as close to a brother as I will ever have, and I'm thankful. And then the people in this community being so supportive. I mean, they're pretty awesome. I mean, they really are a pretty awesome group. So,
Well, Billy, let's clarify. You and I don't really fight. You fight with my wife. You don't fight with me.
We're not going to go into that discussion. That's a discussion for another podcast. There's not really enough time in the day for that tonight. It was.
I'm just saying that you and I don't really fight. I mean,
we don't. You're right. And so, those of you who don't know, that Robert's wife is very headstrong. She's very opinionated. She's a nice woman. She is, and but it's either you agree with her or you're wrong. I mean, and that's just the two ways about it. So, but you know what? She is family to me, and even though she blocked me from Facebook, yes, she, she literally blocked me from Facebook yesterday. I'm not even joking, dude.
Oh, that's awesome.
She blocked me from Facebook and she blocked me on my text messages. So now I can't even text message her anymore because she's blocked me from that. But you know what? We're going to Christmas dinner on the 24th of this month. So she'll have to talk to me then. So she can't block me from physically talking to her.
Oh, come on.
Oh,
So-
you don't want to make that challenge. I guarantee she'll
I
find
do.
a way.
She may punch me and one of us may go to jail, but she's gonna talk to me. I mean, I can tell you that. Well, all right. Listen, that's we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on to some positive things. We've talked about some stuff. We've talked about some stuff you really want to talk about, but you guys made me, damn it. And this is what it is. So you know what? Let's talk about this turbo giveaway, and I'm gonna address this to Abe Froman and Brian over here. We're gonna talk about that. And was it who initially came up with the idea of doing this? Can you who was the individual who did that?
So it was kind of like we keep talking about it, we can't even remember. It was like one of those things. We were trying to get people to the performance page.
Right.
We're like, you know what? Let's start a raffle. And I guess before, people started asking what charity is it going to, and at that point we're like, 100% of the profits are going to charity. So then Dave,
go ahead.
and then Dave stepped up and said, you know what? Here's a turbo, raffle it off. 100% of the profits go to charity, and these are the two charities that we decided to go with. So I think it was kind of like a group effort. It wasn't? Yeah.
It seemed like it was a group effort. I mean, just best I could tell. Ryan, you wanted to say something?
No, just basically Dave stepped up to it, and the group. As you know, there's so many Slingshot groups, and I moderate a few of them. But typically all of them have a mix of everything in it, unless you're like one of the audio things. And we wanted one that was a little more performance orientated, like no sales ads and things like that. And I mean, if you're an approved vendor, you can post your new products and stuff like that. But we just didn't want, as you know, the scammers popping in there with their T-shirts or fake ATV parts and everything else.
Don't do it, Brian. Don't get me started on scammers, man.
I know, but we just wanted to keep it real and give people the opportunity. Like, you don't have to have a turbo or supercharger. You might just want an intake or exhaust, but just like not everybody gets like on Slingshot info. Like, I'm on Facebook more than I am on there. It used to be vice versa, but it's just,
sure.
I've grew more to Facebook, and a lot of the newer crowd, they're more on Facebook, and they have an opportunity to come here. They can ask questions. Dave and other vendors are in there to, ask performance related stuff. It's kind of just what we wanted.
Yeah. I listen. I think it's a great. I think it's a great page, and I think it's a great group to have, because you're right. I mean, there's like the general group. There's a general Facebook groups where people talk about all kinds of different things, a variety of Slingshot stuff, and then there's the audio pages, and then there's light pages, and then there's rally pages. But there really isn't like a performance page, and I think that's important. I mean, there's a 4-wheel page as well, and I think we're going to talk about that soon a little more in detail. But is a topic for discussion. I would just like from the bottom of my heart, I really want to say something. If you're in a group, and I don't care if it's I don't care if it's a general group. I don't care if it's a performance group. Do everybody a favor. If somebody asks a question and you don't know the answer, shut the hell up. Save us all. Save us all a little bit of what little bit of hair that I have. Shut up.
Do you have an
Don't
opinion
make
about this?
Yeah,
Anonymous?
just everybody shut up and let Billy answer the question because Billy knows everything, and he's more than happy to tell you.
no. I will be more than happy to tell you where to go. What I'm telling you is if you legitimately don't know the answer and you give some make some harebrained comment, it jacks everything up. So if you don't know the answer, shut up and let somebody who else knows answer it. Let somebody like Dave answer it. You know,
Just tag
somebody
somebody.
doing this.
Yeah,
You
just
know,
tag them.
because just don't. And then, you know, don't hijack other people's threat. I'm not going to get on my soapbox. Well, no, all I'm saying is, shut
Yeah,
up.
you
If
are.
you don't know, shut up. Okay.
He's already
I mean,
Another reason we started the page. It was there was like a lot of misinformation out there, and you know, you probably see the post on your page where, you know, somebody will ask what the fastest, you know, what's the fastest you've gone in your slingshot.
Oh God.
162 miles an hour,
I did
son.
227 miles an
I
hour.
can do
Boy, I'm like,
100
oh, here we
in
go.
third gear. Third gear, I can do 162. I've done it. Jim Blue, he saw me do it. I swear to you, I can do 162 in third gear.
Meanwhile, the record holders aren't even, you know, as fast as these guys are saying. It's just it's crazy. Or how much horsepower do you got? I got 750 horsepower.
700 horsepower, son. And it's not a built motor. It's not a built motor, not at
Yeah.
all.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I'm running a stock engine going uphill, doing 250 miles an hour.
Yep,
That's
Just
exactly.
pour some of that stop leak stuff in the engine, seal it up, you
Fine.
get better compression and everything.
I'm thinking about putting a chute on the back just to slow me down. That's what I'm
Exactly.
thinking.
The people that know it comes with its own chutes by means of the things behind the front wheels.
That's it. We try to keep everything factual. You know, but we do get derailed a lot with, you know, comedy but everything, we try to keep everything factual. And
I do that a lot. I'm bad about that.
yeah, Brian's a derailer. So
I'd say, has Brian ever been serious about anything in his life?
Yeah, but we'll be talking about something and then, you know, we're chatting and I'm looking at my phone and something pops up. And if I'm in a group message, I'm like, this is dope. And I just send it. And then he sends me a message like, why did you do that?
And then you have the opposite of the spectrum, right? You have Brian, and then who makes fun of everything, and then you have Abe, who sends the funniest. This is what he does. I'm going to tell y'all guys this. He makes the funniest TikTok little short videos, right? And
No, you got to post a picture.
I will. Hold on. Let me get to that. I'll post a picture in just a minute. So
He
he
has
makes
a lot of free time.
yeah, he does. But you know what he does is like, I'm like, I'm using that, and then like a day later he goes, hey, you're not really gonna do that. Yeah, I was just kidding, right? So when I told him that Robert and I were Black Hammer and then Mule Train, he was like, you are not gonna say that. You can't say that on the Facebook. I'm like, we can because I think it's hilarious, but you know, whatever.
Oh, hey. The store across the street does sell those Black Hammer pills. So if you want me to grab
Listen, man.
Where do you
I'm
live?
just saying.
North Carolina.
That explains it all, man. That's it. That explains it all. My point is a great group of people, and they're opposite ends of the spectrum. I think both Abe and Brian are on the spectrum; they're just on opposite sides of it. Thank you guys for creating the channel, and more importantly, getting together and doing this because I think it's
everybody deserves to go fast.
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
Everybody does.
Get away from
we got to meet John out of this.
Yeah.
John ended up being like a real cool dude. You got to see the videos he sends me.
I don't get random videos.
Hey, I just want to show you guys this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. This is what I get at like 11 o'clock at night.
Cute.
So you know, and then I thought the fact that you're seeing no, I'm not going to say that. I am not going to say it. And then I am not. Listen, I'm not going to take. I'm not going to do that, man. I'm not. You guys are not going to get me in trouble. I just got a message. I don't know if you guys saw that, but I am not going to repeat that because I don't want to get in trouble, and I'm trying. You guys are gonna. I'm trying to find this thing. I can't find it now. He said I'm going to play it because it is the funniest thing you have ever seen in your entire life. Did you wait? I just saw it. Did you? You know, you didn't. Here we go. Wait. Oh, that's it. Hold on. You guys are gonna laugh your ass off.
Oh, I know that picture.
You know that picture, don't you? Why do you know that picture? That's the next big thing.
Because I was trying to get it on Abe's dash.
Oh, here we go. Oh, snap. I don't know if y'all can hear this or not. Here we go. Oh, come on.
Like a Houston car.
Yeah, I took that video in Jersey.
They slab up there.
There's no music.
Oh, you can't hear it? Oh.
No, can't hear the music. I mean, the visuals are pretty good, though.
They are pretty good.
Billy and Bobby right there. Black Hammer and the Mule Train, man.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Well,
I sent to you, Abe, was from Tim Armstrong.
He's
That was funny.
this is the kind of stuff that we get in the middle of the night. So yeah, we're getting way off track here, but this is funny.
Nice.
So no, thank you, Abe, for keeping me laugh. And just know, I want you also to know that anything you send me is subject to be put on the podcast. I'm just gonna put that out there. So just be careful. I'm gonna put out, and it's a shame that you couldn't hear the music, but it was Return of the Mac, and it's actually pretty funny. So, let's let's give away some entries to this thing, right? Let's do that. So we have 104. We have 104 tickets that are bought, these raffle tickets, right? So if you were one of the people who bought one of these tickets, one of the 104 tickets that were sold, guess what? I'm getting ready to draw a number. And when I do, then if you hold that, then you're going to get 2 more entries into this raffle, which is pretty awesome. $50 value. Let's make it happen, right? So if you're listening, get your numbers out, pull up your pants, and let's make this happen. Here we go. We're going to share the screen here. Let's see here. What's this? All right, and just so you know that I'm not screwing with you guys, you see it right here. This is it. This is a random number generator. This is straight up like gigacalculator.com. I just pulled it up. We're gonna put number from 1 to 104. So that's what we're gonna do right now. We want one number, and on the count of 3, somebody's gonna win 2 more tickets. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, and who has number 58?
I won! No way, really?
Shut up. If I can't enter, neither can you. I don't want to hear it.
Hey, I chipped in, but I didn't accept any tickets.
Well, and I told
What was the number?
last show, 58.
58.
58. Oh, that's somebody that already got one.
What? Oh, is it?
I think so.
I was going to say 58 sounded familiar. It sounded like what you did last week.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we can do one more.
Edit this part out when it gets saved to Facebook.
Oh no! I mean, it's what's fair is fair. I mean, it's not like we didn't plan.
You sure
this.
you use the one that's just not going to pick the same number every time?
Well, I hit a number again. What's this number say? Well, this number says 63. Oh, it's probably the same person because he bought 6 tickets, you asshole. I don't know.
No, Mr. Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan
Taylor. Oh my God! Look at that.
Talk about a good guy right there. He's
always giving stuff away. So the fact that he just got 2 that's awesome, man. Well, congratulations, Jonathan.
Awesome.
Whoever are, hello to all the people are saying hi.
Oh, yeah. You know what? And it's crazy because you can't. All it says is Facebook user. I really can't tell what who it is. But hi, they said Dana.
Hey,
John said hello. Hey, everybody.
We got Devin Scott and Mary Borleski and Pamela Anderson Armstrong and let's see. I think Q was the very first comment.
Yeah, Q's in there. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Well, congratulations, Mr. Taylor. You are deserving of that, so I'm glad you won.
I'll get the
just know. So let's talk about when the actual raffle is going to be. Dave, what day is the actual raffle?
That's a great question. We're doing the live. We're gonna be doing the live giveaway on
Live giveaway.
the
Was
next
it
show,
27th?
next Billy and Bobby show, at
Yep.
the end of the month, which is the 29th, if my memory is correct. Is that right?
So that's
Or am I wrong? No, 30th.
no. The 30th is Friday. So yes.
30th. Yep.
So you got 3 weeks. You got 3 weeks. 3 weeks to get off your ass and buy a ticket. Right? That's what you got to do.
Yeah,
You
don't
got
be a
3 weeks to
buster.
get up, buy a ticket. You know
Yeah.
what? Don't buy a 12-pack this week. Buy 12 tickets. That's what you need to do. You need to buy
Help
some
the kids
tickets.
out.
Help the children out, man. Make
Right.
this world a better place. Just
Yeah.
like, you know,
Instead of getting the double quarter, get you a Happy Meal. Give the
that's
kids,
what I'm
you know, the
talking
quarter
about,
for kids.
man. You know what?
Put it in the
Instead
Get a
of,
stocking.
toy with it
you
and
know
everything.
what?
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
you know,
You already got your Christmas taken
know
care
what?
of.
You know what? Instead of buying a pack, you buy a Swisher Sweet. You call it a day, right? You need one. You don't need 12. Just you just make it happen, right? Let's just
Only
do
with the
that.
grape. You gotta get
That's
the grape.
right. So, so you know,
Billy, while we're on this subject, talking about the raffle, the just in case anybody sees it, there may be some names in there that I post.
yes.
It's for the slingshotinfo.com guys. A lot of
Oh
those,
yeah.
a lot of the guys aren't on Facebook.
Yeah.
But it's it's one of the sites that kind of
Yeah, on
started
Facebook.
everything. So
Like
Yeah.
that, and then you brought up a good point, Abe. I'm glad you brought that up. Slingshot Info, man. If you guys aren't a part of that group, that webpage, you really should go check it out. Slingshot Info is at .com, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, slingshotinfo.com. You talking about seriousness. I mean, they have their own sections of the forum board that are comical and such. I'll leave it at that. But if you really want to get like some straight knowledge about an issue, whether it's performance suspension, whatever the case is, these are a bunch of guys that are like they don't play any games. They'll just tell you they've done it. They've built it probably 4 different times. They've torn it down. Half of them probably taught Dave how to tear his
Pretty
down.
much paved the way, yeah. Those guys.
But no, these are a great group of guys. Dave is on there. I'm on there. Robert's on there. Obviously, Brian and Abe are on there as well. And Dana, you on there as well?
Hell yeah.
Oh,
That's
Yeah.
what's your name on that day? Texas.
DKF Texas.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
And then, John and Wendy, if you're not on there, you're like the oddball out, man. I mean, you guys gotta get out. You gotta get on this.
On there.
Yeah.
Should be
All right. All right. That's it. You see, the whole crew tonight's on there.
I think we're all on there.
So
Yeah.
get on there and go check out slingshotinfo.com. They're amazing group of vast resources. So let's move on a little bit. So we heard a little bit from Dave, but we're gonna hear a lot more about Dave. So before Dave gets started talking about his stuff, let me just tell you that I think I mentioned this a couple of different times, but if you don't know DDN Dave Michael, let me just tell you, you're missing out. There are a few people, and I'm not even playing games. There are a few people in this world who are as good to their customers and friends as Dave is. He is extremely knowledgeable. He will bend over backwards to help you. He doesn't shaft people when it comes to prices. Like, his prices are reasonable. And he stands behind his product. His turbos are unbelievable. His the new brake package. Let's talk about that for a minute. So let's talk about new products, Dave, because I think that's very important. So one of the newest things you just released is new front calibers and rear calibers. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we're going through and we're kind of filling in a lot of our line at this point. So we just came out with the Willwood front package. So it replaced just the front calipers. You keep the stock size rotor. So if you have other rotors on there, like we do our 2-piece lightweight rotors, or you have stock rotors, or you have anybody else's aftermarket rotors or anything like that, we leave those on, and then you just upgrade the calipers. And what it does is it changes the caliper from a sliding caliper, which is what you typically see on most cars, what's on the Slingshot, which is a single piston. It slides. It's got some kind of mush built into it, essentially. And we changed it out to a fixed caliper, which means it's bolted solid, and just the pistons move inside the caliper as 4 pistons instead of the single. And
Oh, wow.
and just that by itself, it gives a much better pedal feel to you. And the pads that go into it are a higher coefficient of friction at the temperatures that you're operating most of the time on with the Slingshot. So it looks really cool also because we do it in custom colors or red or black as the standard colors, or we can do powder coat in any of the colors. And so it's one of those things that like it really just makes the brakes feel great, and it looks awesome. So I mean that's really cool. And then at the same time, everybody, we introduce those, and everybody always wants to be able to do something in the back, because they don't want to, they don't want something that doesn't look like it matches up. So we just introduced the back kit now. So now we have all 3 wheels, front and back, for that. And then we have the upgraded rotors that you can do. We have our big brake kit, and then we actually have something coming out here very soon that fits slots right between both of those. And that's going to be coming out here really soon. And so, we're kind of going in with a little bit of that good, better, best kind of strategy on a lot of stuff now, to where we're going to be able to have, the good setup, which is going to be, the wheelwood brake setup that we just came out with now. Then we're going to have a middle of the road, kind of a nice, kind of a compromise between the really big brake kit and the wheelwood kit. And then we'll have, of course, the big brake kit, which is just phenomenal. 6-piston, 2-piece rotors. I mean, it's the best thing that's out there as far as a full brake kit for the Slingshot. So we have that.
I have 2 questions about that real quick.
Yeah.
So, do the pistons on the new rotors, do they push straight in or do they twist?
No, they push straight in. So any of the fixed calipers, whether you have 4 pistons, 2 pistons, 6 pistons, whatever, they just push just straight in from the sides, and apply pressure to the pad. And
that's
then
pretty awesome.
The pad pushes on the rotor, and that's what changes from mechanical energy to thermal energy and dissipates it.
And I'm not putting you on the spot, and I haven't looked over. So is it the front? Are they $699 or $749? I don't remember which ones they are.
$749, I believe.
I think $749 was regular price, and you had them on sale for $6.
I think you had them on sale for like Black Friday for $699
when we introduced them. I'm terrible with prices. I got way too many numbers in my head. $749 for the front. We had them on sale for $699. The rear is $629, but we have intro special on that for $579 right now.
Boom! There you go.
How custom?
Like I knew those prices.
Color.
What's that?
How custom can you go with those colors?
I mean, we do all the powder coat colors that we do. For the regular Slingshot stuff, we do that. If you've got something that you want custom, we can do it. It just depends on what that color is. If it's something that we have here, no problem. If it's something like custom that we have to order powder coat in or something like that, we're going to work with the customer and try to figure out what the best way, because obviously we don't have to buy 10 pounds of powder to shoot 2 calipers, kind of thing. But usually we'll work with someone like that. But usually the colors that we have cover the vast majority of customers. But if you guys got something special, I'm guessing that's why you're asking, just give me a holler. We're happy to help.
Why would I want something special?
I know, right?
I can see the gears turning. She's scheming on that one.
That's probably what.
That's awesome.
American flag calipers.
American flag calipers. You get one red, white, and blue. That's what you get. You don't need special
We've
colors.
done valve covers like that, red, white, and blue down the valve cover. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We're how would they valve cover over there? That's blue and white.
I just want to say that's awesome. I'm looking forward to it. I certainly think that is certainly on my short list of things that I want to do after I put the turbo on. I think because it makes a difference. I think we all can agree that the brakes are that's the suckiest part of the entire Slingshot is the brakes. Like factory brakes are just horrible.
So with that, funny enough, so a lot of people don't know, but Hawk actually makes the stock brake pads that are in the Slingshot. And so Hawk manufactures them because when we figured out what pad shape they were originally, and we started selling the Hawk upgrades, Hawk gave me a call and they're like, what, how'd you figure this out? And it's like, well, it's pretty easy, just a pad shape, you track it down, and that's what it is. So I started talking to him. He said, yeah, we sent over 3 pads to Polaris to try basically when they were figuring this out, and the pad that they ended up choosing was kind of one that he just threw in there and he wasn't expecting him to pick. And if you look at the pad, it's a really good pad for higher temperature. It doesn't build its coefficient of friction until you get a lot of temperature in the pad. So if you go out and you take a stock Slingshot and bleed the system, because if you have air in the system, which kind of like with alignment, almost every one we have come in has air in the brake system. If you get that out and you get a decent pedal, and if you go out and just go to the track and just beat the crap out of that thing and get a lot of temperature into the brakes, they're actually really good. But just you can't do that on the street, kind of thing. So that's why we change out to pads that are better operating temperature or better coefficient of friction at the temperature that you run these things. And they work great. But yeah, the stock pads are actually by Hawk. They're actually good pads. They're in the wrong temperature zone as far as operation.
I could not agree more with air in the system. One of the first things that I did after I bought mine was take it back to the dealer and had them bleed the brakes for me, and it made that in and of itself made the huge difference. Robert, tell me, did you have yours bled, or what kind of did you have any issues with yours?
The
brakes.
The brake. No, I haven't had any issues with mine. I know we changed out a rear brake caliper and had to bleed the brakes as part of that process. You and I, but that's a whole other story. But no, I haven't had any problems with mine. I was thinking, between like the new brake kit, Dave, and like the brace, man, you'd be stopping on a dime. I was teasing Dave. I think last week I was thinking about getting the new front brakes, and I had to ask him. I said, "Okay, Dave, if I get these new front brakes, if I tap the brakes and I don't have the corresponding rear pads on, I'm not going to like just flip over like end over end like some kind of scene out of Batman. And am I like with a semi truck? I'm not going to flip end over end." He assured me that I would not.
I said you'd be okay.
But the bigger question is, when you hit the brake, does the asphalt crumble like a carpet? Really, that's what the bigger question is.
Up.
Just right under the front. Yeah. Okay. All right. That's what I was gonna ask. All right. So we got that. Let's talk about shocks. They've been out for a little bit. Tell me. Yeah. Let's talk about shocks, man.
3-ways. I mean, that's our bread and butter.
We all love 3-ways.
The 3-way.
Yes. Shocks. We all love 3-way shocks.
That's what we're talking about.
Get your head out of the gutter. Good Lord.
The 3-way adjustables that we do. I mean, those we get so much great feedback on those because we I don't know if you guys know what a shock dyno is. Anybody seen that or heard of that?
I have no idea one even existed.
Yeah, so it's like everybody's familiar with dynos and they're familiar with engine dynos, or chassis dynos where you see how much power you make. But they have what's called a shock dyno, and a shock dyno, you put a shock on this big machine, and it goes up and down really, really fast, or actually slow at first, and it moves the shock in and out. And what it does is it measures how much force is required to move that shock, and then it plots this cool little graph and everything like that. It does it for both compression, so when you're making the shock shorter, or rebound when you're making the shock longer, it records both those forces. And if you have the stock shock, there's obviously just one line because there's no adjustability. If you have like the adjustables, well, then you can adjust it and you can see compression and rebound change and how much force is required and all that kind of fun stuff. So, with our development stuff, we put stuff on shock dynos because we want to know versus stock, well, how are these things doing? And man, those 3-way shocks, you can go almost to where you have almost no damping in them, to where it's got a little bit, so you can just set them real nice and soft, go down the road, and go 500 miles and you're super comfortable, kind of thing. Or you can crank those suckers up and you can make it so that they're like, riding on rails, basically. If you got a really smooth road that can do that, they're awesome. The other options that we have are good. They're definitely better than stock. But compared to the 3-ways, the 3-ways just kill everything as far as the range. We haven't tested anything that has the amount of range that our 3-ways have.
That's amazing.
They're awesome.
They're just super awesome. Usually people will call up and I'll talk to them, and you guys, most everybody here knows me. I'm a terrible salesman because people will call up and they'll be like, "I want to buy a stage 3 turbo," and blah blah blah, and I'm like, "Do you really want to do that?" I'm like, what's your plan, kind of thing. And usually you end up kind of steering them towards the stage 1 because it works with stock engines and stock clutches and all that kind of stuff.
See, Dave, that's because you're about customer service. You're not just about selling whatever somebody says they want to buy. You want to know what they really want and what isn't going to blow up their engine.
Well, because at the end of the day, it's like we're all just doing this to have fun. I mean, none of this is, like life or death or anything like that. So it's like, if I've got someone that calls up and they want to do a stage 3 turbo, so they're going to spend $5,000 or $6,000 or something like that. You're like, you'd be better off to get a stage 1 turbo and a set of 3-way shocks and a bunch of other stuff and really, brakes and all this kind of stuff and really have a nice balanced slingshot versus just putting it all onto a turbo, kind of thing. And, they're going to enjoy that more than just building up a big turbo because they think that's what they need or that's what they've been told or whatever. So, it's like that's just kind of the cool thing with doing all this stuff. It's getting that out to people, and then they call back, and it's like with the 3-ways, and it's like we get so much feedback, and they're like, man, those things are awesome. I can't believe how awesome they are. So, but the 3-ways we do have less expensive options. We have the 2-ways, we have the QA1s and all that kind of stuff, but I generally talk people into the 3-ways because it's just awesome. The Olins that I have on mine definitely don't need most people to have those things, but man, they are sweet. Those things are really, really nice. But they're $3,200 too. So
yes, $3,200.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they are fantastic.
And they better be for $3,200.
Well, you guys were talking about the whole like going fast thing earlier. So we do the mile drag racing or land speed stuff, and it's not fun at all. Kind of thing. Because you start off, and the one that I do is at an old bomber Air Force base in Arkansas. And so you start off and you're at the end of the runway, and the bombers would touch down, it seems like about a half mile down. So you're doing like 145, 150 miles an hour, and you hit the spot where the bombers were landing, and there's like this whoosh, whoosh, whoosh kind of thing. And so you're going over that, and it's just not super comfortable at all. But the Olins soak it right up. It's awesome, but it's still a little bit sketchy. Kind of thing.
QA1s?
Huh?
You don't want to do it with QAs?
No, I would not do it.
I like my QAs, thank you. There's nothing wrong with QAs.
Yeah.
I like my QAs.
No, there's nothing wrong. QA1s are they have actually QA1s actually have a really good amount of adjustment. Also, they're actually a really decent shock. They do really well. In fact, I mean, out of the stuff that we've tested as far as range and adjustability, they're definitely up there. That's why we sell them. Kind of thing. As far as a nice 2-way adjustable setup, they do great. Not a bad setup at all.
I noticed there's a night and day difference from factory to that. So, maybe the next generation will definitely do the 3-way. But I like the QA1s.
Yeah.
So we've talked about brakes. We've talked about shocks. Let's talk about where you're at on forced induction for 2nd gen, because we are getting.
No one asked this question ever. I haven't.
No, never. No, they don't ever ask it more than 6 times in a day. That's what they don't ever do. So, what's the deal, man? What are we doing?
So where we're at with that is that we have supercharger kit is going to be your first one, just because it works well with the stock exhaust that's on there. The stock exhaust on the 2020 is actually pretty decent. The header is actually really nice compared to the first gens, especially. So what we have is we have the mount for the supercharger all done up, intercooler mount all done up. Basically just need to make some pipes and then do a final tune on it. I'm waiting to get. We have some other products that are in development right now that have sucked up a lot of time this year, and so once we kind of get that done, and that's kind of a little bit more broader market, I'm going to say. That once we get done with that, then we're going to be bringing that 2020 back in and finishing that development up. So,
well, I will also tell you this on the bottom of my heart.
What's that?
He said pictures already didn't happen. I am also going to say this in the bottom of my heart, Dave. Get off your ass and make it happen, pal, because everybody wants it.
So, I mean, basically, I don't do anything all day long here.
No, you don't. You're like the biggest slacker ever. Okay, all right. So what are we talking? 6 months? I'm not going to hold you to this. I'm just like 6 months, 3 months, a year. Better not be a year. I'm going to kick you off the show.
My goal is to have it at Sling Experience on our 2020.
Okay.
Yeah. So
right, you heard it here, folks.
Since Dana
just
posted that all over, which I am totally going to give a plug for Sling Experience because that show is pretty Actually, it is
Oh
just
yeah.
badass.
Oh,
I mean,
it's unreal.
I am not a light and sound guy in the past, but that show has
But they have like
taken me to the dark
Like,
side of light and sound, because that show is a ton of fun.
It is a ton of
And-
fun, and I
yeah.
don't know how I didn't die that day. The
Do you
day
know
it
what?
was
I'm
released.
so glad you guys came, though.
you
'Cause-
talking about the highway, Billy?
Well, multiple times, but the highway. What I'm talking about is getting 400 slingshots on the main road in
On
freaking-
Westheimer, yeah.
on Westheimer, and nobody, and I mean not a person, not a person regards any stoplight
No,
on that
at
road.
all. You gotta go.
And
You just go with it. You cannot stop.
You
Don't even
cannot
try
stop,
to
or you're going to crash
You're gonna
everybody.
mess everybody up. You just go.
And it is one of the wildest things that I have ever been a part of. And it was so funny because Robert was driving. He was driving Dave's Sling, by the way. Robert was driving Dave's Sling. We were driving your Sling, right? We had never driven an auto before, and we cussed that thing from the time we left the parking lot to the time we got back. It was
it's terrible.
it was so bad.
It still has that original 2020 cal in the transmission, which is that cal was terrible.
It was. I was like, I'm gonna die. I am gonna die.
Yeah.
Either the transmission is gonna blow up, or we're gonna get T-boned. One of the two. But it was the greatest and most horrifying thing at the same time ever. And if you guys ever get a chance to do that,
riding down the street, no LEDs, embarrassed as hell that we're a dark slingshot among like lights everywhere except in ours, and we're like just stop like bouncing around like we don't know how to drive a stick shift because that.
You guys stood out though because you didn't have LEDs. See, you guys
you know what? We definitely stood out. That is.
Oh yeah,
you're
yeah.
right.
We were the dark spot in the whole train of slingshots.
Wow. I mean,
I would have loaned you.
You what?
I would have loaned you mine. I didn't get to go on too many rides. Somebody has to stay back and not have fun.
Well, you know the best part about it. Okay, I'm gonna tell this story only because Brian's on the podcast. Let me tell you the story. Okay, so he knows where I'm going with this too. So we're out there, and so Robert and I, we rented a car. We couldn't bring our slings down, so we rented a car, and we were hanging out at Dave's booth. And Brian was like, we were talking about going to Galveston, and like, okay, well let's go to Galveston. Let's do it, man. And so Brian goes, I think I'm gonna rent one of these slingshots because the Polaris was there and they were renting slingshots. And so Brian goes, I'm gonna rent one of these Polaris slingshots and I'm gonna drive to Galveston. You guys want to drive in a slingshot? And I was like, no, I don't, because I don't have but two shades, and that's pale and emergency room red, and that's all I have. And I am not going to drive in an open cockpit slingshot from Houston to Galveston. It ain't going to happen, right? So he was like, oh, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. He's like, oh, you know what? I worked out a deal with Polaris where they're going to let me, I have to go pick up this. It was the most shady deal you have ever seen. Brian goes,
She had a wrap removed or whatever, and she was like, I need it at the show. If you go pick it up, you can borrow it for the day.
Oh yeah, that's it. So we go to this. Borrow, right? Yeah. So we go to this. We go to this. I don't know. It was just ghetto place in Houston, and we pick up this. It's a Lambo there, and it was sketched out. I'm like, this is a chop shop. This is what this is. So he picks it up, and we take off. We take off to Galveston, and let me tell you what, he cussed the entire way there. It was so bad. It was so bad.
It's like stop and go traffic on I-45 South with the sun beating down.
Oh my God. And I'm just like,
I'm not using all them damn lanes. I pulled out on the highway and I was like, I turned white as a ghost, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going like 80. I'm like 80 miles an hour following them, and people are just like cut me off, and I'm like, come on, I'm in a little tub of plastic. Leave me alone.
And we parked. I just knew we parked on this street in Galveston, and I was convinced that either one or both of us were going to get towed because there's no way we should have been able to park there, and we did. And neither one of us got tickets, and I don't know how that happened, but it was certainly an adventure, and I enjoyed it. So that was I won't elaborate, but in case you guys don't know, not only is Dave a connoisseur of performance when it comes to slingshots and Mazdas and other things, something else that Dave's a connoisseur of is, here's a fun fact about him, is Dave collects web addresses. I'm not going to talk to you about that, but I will just tell you he collects domain names, and just use your imagination. I'm just going to use your imagination.
A few of them.
I just want to know, how many did you buy between South Carolina and Texas that day?
I only bought 2 on that trip. There was only 2 on that trip. That was not too bad.
That wasn't bad.
I got a couple for you.
It's donut places.
Donut franchise coming out.
Yeah, that's it. You know, he bought one at dinner. That was great. I enjoyed that.
Extra large players.
Yeah. So if you ever want to know a fun fact about him, he collects domain names.
I think
so we'll just leave it at that.
I have 55.
55.
Yeah.
55 domain names. Holy, I thought I have like 6, but 55. That's amazing.
I mean, that's pretty amateur hour.
It is amateur. Well,
yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
you need to step your game. You need to step your game up, man.
A really good one to make a lot of money.
It's true.
Well,
true.
I mean, Billy,
I have
Billy,
2 really good
you've got one for your OnlyFans, and then what are your other?
Don't talk about the sacred website, man. We don't talk about that on the show. All right, moving on. The last thing I want to talk about is probably one of your biggest sellers to date, or at least it seems like it is your 4-wheel conversion kits, man. So let's talk about those.
4-wheel conversion kit. First of all, for anybody that says it's not a Slingshot anymore, good for you. That's like, no matter what you post up, it's like someone's going to come out of the woodwork and be like, it's not a Slingshot anymore. And it's like, okay, cool enough. It is still a Slingshot. Doesn't matter how many wheels you have in the back. But they're really cool. It's a love it or hate it thing. And it seems to be very polarizing for people. And I have no idea why. I mean, it's like any other modification you do to the Slingshot. It's just however you want to make your Slingshot. It's neat in that it changes the personality of the Slingshot, I think, quite a bit. That your acceleration is better, but also, and that's the first thing everybody's like, oh, I'm doing it for acceleration. But it's like your handling all changes, your braking all changes, everything, the whole dynamics of the vehicle change. It's a really, really neat setup. We're definitely not the first ones that came out with it or anything like that. The original one I think is still, Run. Dana can help me. Was it Runman was first?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, Bob out there. Which, I mean, his is beautiful. I'll admit it, no problem at all. His 4-wheel kit's a beautiful work of art. Kind of thing. We didn't go that route because Bob already has that taken care of. I mean, I don't know how much better you could do that setup. Kind of thing. So ours is much more focused towards the guys that just want something that's going to work really, really well. It's Camaro. It has a Camaro differential in the back, which is pretty indestructible. Although I'm sure Abe will try to keep destroying things because he's really good at that.
Hey, Dave, I got a quick question for you. I got a quick question about the differential. Is it just? I mean, what? Like, there's the Corvette differential, and then there's like the Camaro. Yeah. What is the difference between those? Like, why would you get one versus the other?
So you have Nissan. Runman uses the Nissan. Trackhammer uses the
old Corvette.
The Corvette.
Yeah.
I think they're using the Corvette. Trackhammer's using the Corvette. We use the Camaro. The Camaro is just, it's, as far as which one's gonna be better, they're all gonna be able to take any kind of power you're gonna be able to throw at them in some ways as much as the Slingshot. They all have different differential ratios. As far as that they can run. We don't have anything that matches exactly to the stock with the Camaro that we use, but we kind of can get both sides of the stock depending on where you want to go with it. And if you have something with forced induction, I'm going to say out of all the ones that we've sold, the majority of them, vast majority, have some kind of forced induction. So changing that ratio a little bit kind of helps those guys out a little bit. But as far as like, is one better than the other? I can make arguments.
Well, I wasn't suggesting one was better than the other. I was just wondering if there was a reason you would do one versus the other in terms of like the way you wanted to drive it or anything like that. I wasn't looking for a specific answer. I honestly just didn't know if there was a difference or if it's just a matter of like setting up the ratio for whatever setup you have.
So with ours, I mean, the way that we got into this is fun little changing around.
I know.
So I mean, the way that we got into it was that back in the day, Brumman came out with his, Alpha was around and came out with theirs, and we started designing one at that point to do 4-wheel. Then we got busy with everything else. We had it kind of catted up and everything like that, and it kind of fell onto a back burner. I was out at actually, funny enough, Sling Experience the first time I came out there, and we met the folks from DF Kit Car at there, and he brought up his 4-wheel kit. And I looked at it, and it was like, it looked 90% like the one that we catted up here, and was that we wanted to build. It was like, holy cow, this looks almost exactly like what we were going to do. And so we talked to him and said, hey, listen, would you be up, for us, kind of taking this on? And their DF Kit Car, their main thing is they build a little Goblin kit car which uses a little Ecotech engine in the back. Kind of fun little setup. We have one here, and it's really cool. So we kind of worked out a deal with them, and so and they already had the Camaro set up, which is a good setup. And so that's kind of how we got into it. So we didn't really have a super choice in what it is, but I mean, as far as what I would pick, I mean, it's a good differential to go with. Like I said, if it can hold up to the power that's thrown at it with a Camaro and that kind of weight, anything you throw at it with a Slingshot. And for those that don't know, Rabtech is another guy that if something can break, Rab can break it, kind of thing. He was, I don't want to say abusive, but he definitely put things to the test.
Yes.
He beat the shit.
I mean, the first Sling Experience that we were at for the donut competition was pretty awesome. That's a video that should be shared by everyone. It was glorious.
Beautiful.
We didn't win, but we had a good after show. That's for sure.
The after show outshined everything.
That was a ton of fun.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, we went after. So after the whole thing, which the dude that won totally deserves it because he got out of the Slingshot, which I know is not legal to do anymore. But got out of the Slingshot, and the Slingshot is doing donuts while he's outside of the Slingshot, kind of thing. It was,
walking.
I mean, if he wouldn't have won, I think I would have been like protesting that he should win because it was pretty awesome. But after we got done, I asked Rab, I said, hey, you want to go out there and we'll go head to head. So me and Rab, came up and we went head to head with each other. And then we just both lit up our back tires and created a ton of smoke, and Rabtech's tire flew up in the air and came back down, and there was rubber and debris everywhere. It was phenomenal.
Oh my God.
It was so much fun.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I don't know what that had to do with 4-wheel kits, but
hey, you know what? Hey, there's no real line in this show. You just go where you want to, man. That's cool. Let's talk about. I want to bring two. Listen, guys. You guys don't understand. You guys don't understand the amount of baller status that is in this room. 2 people in this room. Baller status. So Abe Truman over there, right, and Brian, these guys baller status. And let me tell you what I mean by that is.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay, no. So these guys are putting down. I'm not even going to guess how much money they have spent. It's irrelevant, but I will tell you this: it is a lot. And Dave has been fortunate enough to work on these guys' Sling, and is putting down some massive power. And they have beautiful slings. I mean, they're gorgeous. Dave's done great work on them. And I want to ask you. So I don't know about you, Brian, but Abe, you've had both a supercharger and a turbo, correct?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, yep. and then Robert, you have had both turbo
yep.
and now you have a supercharger. Brian, what about you? Did you have both, or you just?
I didn't own both, turbo? But I have a lot of seat time between all of them.
Okay, so let's talk about that. So let's start with Abe. If you had to decide which one you like better, what in your preference, what would it be?
It's a tough one. because I have mixed feelings about, I guess, both of them. I guess so. The supercharger I loved because it was just it was so controllable. The power's there when you need it. But and then I think I was I got to a point where I wanted to go faster. I wanted to make it like scary fast. And
That's you, John.
and in order to do that, you gotta throw a turbo on there. Unless, I mean, like the mad scientist Dave creates something where you can go like 700 horsepower in with a supercharger. That'd be cool. But yeah, I think I think I think I enjoy the turbo more. I've driven it for a month or two, I guess now, and it just has so much potential, and you can just keep upgrading it. I mean, I think right now the supercharger, you're I think unless I thought the 95 millimeter pulley was like the smallest pulley you could get right now, and I think that brings you up to, I don't know, mid 300s or something like that.
Yeah,
But
I mean, if you do the cams and the super, that's the thing with the superchargers. It kind of maxes out, and it's like you just really can't go. With our supercharger setup anyway, you just can't really go too much more. And it's really, that kit was never designed for big power, kind of thing. It's just not. And that's where the turbo, we have the guys that want to go fast and make big power and all that kind of stuff, and that's what the turbo's for. It just digs and goes.
It's like weird, like the way when you're driving the supercharger, you don't realize how fast you're going until you actually look down at the dash and you're like, oh, shit.
Yeah, because it's not a sudden propel you just instantly.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Brian, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say, it's just like when we take people out for test drives, like my favorite thing to do, and you take them out there and you rip it with the supercharger, and they're like, yeah, it feels okay, and you're like, oh, we're doing 120. They're like, what? And they have no idea that they're going that fast, because it's just a real linear pull. It never gives you that big whooshy kind of feel that you get with the turbo.
By the way, never jump in the slingshot with Dave.
It's kind of fun. It always is.
It's always fun.
Yeah.
I have not been. I've
That's
not.
the first time I grabbed the old shit handle on the side.
Oh, dude.
Okay, so I have not.
I told him to slow down. Slow down. Stop.
Slow down, you son of a. Slow down. So it was funny because Dave came out last year to Bobby's house, and he put two superchargers on, and it rained, and he was able to take one of our friends out in his supercharger, and it was like he came back and his face was just like white as a ghost, and it was raining, and so unfortunately Robert didn't get a chance at night. Raining at night. I was talking to him, you're a wimp, man. You can't just get in the slingshot and go whatever. But he didn't. I don't want to do it, so he didn't get into it. Anyhow, so Robert and I have not been the recipients of being in the passenger seat when Dave's driving, and I'm looking forward to it next year. When we probably been coming in down, but
at Sling, are you guys coming to Sling Experience?
I don't know. I would like to. It's too early to make.
Actually, I don't think we can, because we've got our trip in April.
Oh, is that when it is in April?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We're gonna be. We probably won't make it because we're gonna be in Hawaii. So screw you guys. I'm going to Hawaii. So what about Robert? What do you think? Which one do you like better?
Well, from a thrill standpoint, I mean, I think the turbo gives you that adrenaline rush, just for the fact that all of a sudden you hit 3,000 RPMs and the power is there and you're gone. But like from an everyday driving and just knowing the power's there, and like Dave's saying, you don't feel like you threw yourself into the back of the seat or anything, but you look down, you're doing 120 miles an hour. And mine is a little bit weird for the comparison, because when I got the supercharger installed, I also had a louder exhaust put on. So for me, it's weird because it feels like I'm running the engine harder, but it's just because my exhaust is louder than it was with the turbo because it's a different exhaust. But yeah, you definitely know it's there, and like if you're riding down the highway trying to, well, not trying to, but another Slingshot comes up beside you and wants to challenge you, and you got that supercharger. It's like you can just glide straight on past them and not even break a sweat.
Yeah.
What we're forgetting, and I've now actually seen it in person, obviously, but I think we're forgetting John and Wendy for a minute, because you guys have done an astronomical amount of changes to your guys' sling. Have you added a supercharger or a turbo to yours yet?
Supercharged. Dave did mine back in
Years ago.
16 or 17? It's one of those, yeah.
Okay.
We
How
did
do
yours
you-
that weekend we
Oh, man,
did
you were-
with Painter up there, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
You were one
How
of the
do?
first.
Okay, I'm sorry. You
John?
were one of the first ones. How do you guys like it?
I love it. She hates it.
I don't like it.
Why don't you like it? Tell me why you don't like it.
Really? Because he drives the Slingshot like a jackass.
So he drives it exactly like he's supposed to drive it. That's
I was
what
gonna
I'm
say, I
talking
thought
about.
that was a rule.
Yeah.
I know that was bad for me to say, but
Drive it like you stole it.
But when
I was saying, we only tell the truth here.
right?
Yeah.
But no,
It's funny because
what I like about it is the instant power every time you push on the pedal.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it seems like when I get in the twists and turns, I have a lot more control. I just drop
Right.
it in third and I take
just
off
go.
from there.
You know what, John? You're right, man. Like in the twisties, like in the mountains, supercharger was. I feel is like the thing to have in the mountains.
That is a very good point. And here in Colorado, that's a big consideration, because I mean, if you're down in the flatlands like straightaways, you can have a lot of fun with the turbo. But like if you're in the area like we are, whether it's the hill country in Texas or here in Colorado, that you get in the twisties, you got that even keels, like straight line power with the supercharger. It's a little more useful than, but to the point, like turbo, that slingshot effect is a whole lot of fun.
Well, I mean, really though, at the end of the day, you need two. You need one supercharged and one turbo, and then
And that's the moral of the story, Dave.
Right. That's
Everyone
really
needs
the ending
to.
of how this.
Hey, Dave, just for the record,
Driver
Dave,
mods.
I bet, those of you who don't know, Robert and I started our own business earlier this year, and I have been doing my damnedest to get him to agree to buy a company Slingshot, and he just won't go for it. And it's I don't know why, he just won't go for it. But
Right now I don't have any more garage spaces, so.
Well, I will gladly
Well, you
make
need a
room
bigger
in
house,
mine.
then.
So that's right. I mean, yeah.
Well, yeah, okay. After renting a warehouse.
You know what, your guy, from the pictures that I've seen, John, your guys' sling is amazing. It's beautiful. You've done so much work to it, and I applaud you guys for doing that. It really is a beautiful bike. So thank you for sharing that and doing that. It's great.
Well, we have a lot to Tim and Pam Armstrong.
Okay.
They donated all their time into painting both of these slingshots.
Man, that's
that's
awesome. See, great people. Just
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Work.
Hey John, is your paint? Is that paint? Is that Luminor?
I have it on my Slingshot.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Where
Tim
the-
said he knocked it out in a week.
where-
Oh,
Try about 9-10 months for each of them.
woo. Woo.
And it's super clean. I like it.
Yeah.
There's a lot involved.
Yeah, the
It is-
wristband and the butterflies is the electric paint on my Slingshot.
Yeah.
You-
Expensive
you-
as hell. I remember pricing that out at one time. I was like, holy cow, I didn't realize it cost
Per
that.
inch. Per
Pam-
inch.
Per square inch.
Per
Yes.
square inch. Well, with the hood the size it is, I'm sure that was a bulk of as big as that damn thing is. Good gracious.
Well, have you seen Tim's personal Slingshot? It's all over it.
Oh, Pam and Tim slingshot.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
the whole
Yeah.
their whole slingshot.
Covered in it.
Yeah, Pam
See,
surprised me with that at my ride because me and John was going back and forth with putting it on mine. Then I decided not to, and then Pam surprised me at my ride of my reveal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Well,
But
you know what, guys?
Paint job. There is no luminar on it. You know, I ended up pretty much just saying, "Hey Tim, do what you want," and gave him full control.
You know
There
what?
you go.
Sometimes you just got to do that, right? Sometimes you just got to trust the people who are doing the work and just let them use their imagination and creativity to do what they do. And it sounds like, I mean, he did just a great job. So thank you guys for sharing those and talking about them. It's amazing. Well, listen, see, here's the deal, guys. You know, we've been doing this now. We've been going on for an hour and a half, and I said in the beginning of this that we weren't gonna, you know, this wasn't gonna be astronomically long. Usually, our podcast or these Facebook Live are about an hour, and I want to say thank you to everybody who came on the show tonight. This has been one of the best shows that we've done. I think I can speak to. Speak for Bobby when I tell you that this has just been just a total blast, and we look forward to doing the drawing on the 30th on Friday the 30th. So we're gonna do it again. It will be 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific. So if you've bought a ticket, you come here, you watch the podcast, and somebody is going to win a brand new turbocharger from DDM Works. Those of you who want to follow us, feel free. Go to our Facebook page.
It's awesome.
It's facebook.com/Billy and Bobby SS. We also have an Instagram at Colorado Motion LEDs, which is the name on that. So if you also want to check us out on YouTube, we have a couple different videos. So Billy, YouTube is at Billy and Bobby Slingshot Show. You can also go to www.billyandbobbyss.com, and that will take you over there. So once again, thank you all for joining us. Thank you all for putting up with our antics and our jokes and our unprofessionalism. I think that's the most important thing to keep from this or take away from it. You did get to meet Abe Froman. Those of you who didn't, the Sausage King strikes
Sausage King of
again.
Chicago.
Sausage King of Chicago strikes again. So I thank you for putting all this together tonight. Abe, thanks. Dave, thanks. Dana, thanks. John, Wendy, Brian, you guys are amazing, and we're gonna get out of here, and we're gonna see you guys in just like 3 weeks. So, we didn't talk about it. So, real quick, Abe, if they want to buy a ticket, where are they going to
go? Go to the Polaris Slingshot Performance Group page. You'll see the raffle pinned at the top of the page.
Okay.
Just everything.
All the instructions and everything are on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, everything
cool.
you need to know is in there.
So $25 a ticket or 5 for 100. Is that correct?
Yes.
Good. All right. I like it. Well, somebody's going to get super lucky. And again, it's for a great cause. So get off your ass and buy some tickets. And I wish you all luck. So we're going to see you guys in about 3 weeks. Again, hit us up. If you want to email us, also want to tell you, so Billy and Bobby SS at gmail.com. So check it out. And we're going to talk to you guys super soon.
All right.
Thanks for having us. Later.
See you guys.
Bye.